Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of this fascinating series on Qira'at, as my dear brother Jay Smith called it Qira'at Conundrum. And I hope by now you know why he calls it a conundrum, why we call it controversies. It's very obvious that there is so much to the story of the Qira'at than meets the eye. And unfortunately for our Muslim friends, oftentimes they rely on one source of authority that tells them how they ought to believe, and they are left in the dark. My hope is that we're living in an era right now, in an age where you have access not only just to the internet, not only to social media, but we're telling you even in this particular series about where you can even find books and where you can go to get these answers and to even verify the information that we're sharing with you. Today, and this episode, and possibly next episode, we are going to walk you through just a handful, a sample of some of these Qira'at issues to show you, especially if you're a Muslim, why these variant readings do not state that it's the same Qur'an. There are theological issues, there are linguistic issues, among other issues that we will be revealing to you. With me here in the studio, of course, as always, is Dr. Jay Smith. Jay, welcome back. And, tell everybody why these samples that we're going to show them today are powerful, are important. And have you done this, for instance, as a speaker's corner in the past?
Yes, and what I'm going to show you today has been around for 4 years. These slides we did way back in 2016. Hatun and I, we then took what we had did at Speaker's Corner, we took them to a studio, and we introduced them on Fander Films. I'm not showing you anything different than what has been around for a good 4 years. We did this because we were hearing the same recurring narrative. Okay, so there are differences, but they don't change any theology, they don't change any belief, they don't change any practice, they don't change any doctrine. Now, you're hearing Shabir Ali say this all the time. That's his only caveat. He has to fall back on that because he's now admitted as of May 19 that there are changes. But he says, who cares? There's nothing that's different. They're all saying the same thing. It's just different ways to say the same thing. Different pronunciations, different, as he says, recitations of saying the same thing. We're going to show you that that's not the case. And I think for a lot of Muslims, this is what they're hoping, that there's no difference in doctrine, no difference in belief. Now, Hatun and her team has found 93,000. There's no way we're going to get into 93,000. When we introduced it back to 4 years ago, we looked at 70 of them. We're just going to look at 14 right now.
Yeah. And Jay, you and I did a live stream, and we used maybe 2 or 3 examples real quickly.
We actually looked for 6 of them at that time.
I can't recall the number, but one of them in particular, if you remember, Shabir Ali went back and forth.
Chapter 98, verse 6.
Focusing on that verse, and I kept laughing to myself, like, you picking on one, there is 93,000 of them. So good luck with that.
So let's go right into it, and let's look at the first one. Let's go up on the screen, and let's bring the slide up, and that's chapter 2, verse 58. Always on the left in the green will be Hafs, and then on the right in the yellow will be Warsh or Nafi, or what it will give different ones. But most of them are Hafs versus Warsh.
And the reason why we're focused on Hafs, because it's the standard 1924 Qur'an.
And everything must be measured against that standard. So on the left side you have Firu. Actually, I'll let you do the Arabic, okay? You do the whole Arabic, and you go ahead and say. Now, just for those who are not initiated to this, look at the text that's in Arabic and look at the little green line. That is the word we're looking for in the Arabic. In the case with the Warsh, look at the little yellow line, and then we'll give you the translation, and then we'll give you the context and show you what it looks like in the sentence, and then we'll give you the significance.
Very good. I want to read just a word because I want people to focus on how it's pronounced. So for Hafs, the one on the left in the green, here is how it reads, the one underlined in green. Naghfir, naghfir. The one on the right side, Warsh, yughfar, yughfar. I say it slowly because I want you as non-Arab speakers to notice the difference. Naghfir versus yughfar. Does that sound the same to you? Of course not. Now let's get into the issue. You see the translation right there.
Just before you do that, if you can really look closely at the one, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. Notice the dot is above the line, so that's the noon that we've talked about earlier. And then the one on the right, the 2 dots below the line.
That's the ya.
That's the ya. There's the Y.
That's
so
right.
there is a difference in dots. 1 dot above versus 2 dots below. Also, notice that there's a fatha there above the na, whereas the one on the y, there is a dhamma. So you have not only a dot difference,
That's right.
you also have a vowelization difference.
Right. And here's what's going on. I mean, linguistically speaking, the one in the left, hafs, in the green, the verb here is in the active. The one in the right side, the yellow, it's in the passive. Okay? There's a difference between active and passive.
And one more thing, take a look at the second half of that word. Under that fa, there's a kasra on the with the haf side. When you look at the warsh, it has been changed to an alif. I'm sorry, it's been changed to a fatta. So here you can see the two vowels are different as well there. So there's two vowelization differences and there's two dots differences.
Yeah. Now, as an Arab speaker, as someone who comes from a Muslim background, then I challenge my Muslim friends now to look at this and tell me, you believe that Allah is the one who's speaking. Okay, so maybe in Hafs we can see that he's the one who's speaking and saying he's the one, even though he's describing himself in the plural, by the way. Instead of saying aghfir in the singular, he's talking in the plural. And some of our Muslim friends say, well, this is the majestic plural, whatever. Naghfir, okay, so it's Allah is the one who is forgiven, in the active, basically. In the right side, the warsh, just saying, shall be forgiven. Yughfar lahum. Who's going to forgive him? I can see Allah here in this. Somebody can forgive him.
Anybody can forgive. So
exactly.
Who does the forgiving here?
The
Where
people,
is the action taking place? That has a theological difference. You can write up on quite a bit on this. Just saying, if warsh is correct, then of course we can pretty throw God out of it. If hafs is correct, then it is obvious that this is God. Whether or not it's singular or plural, that's in and of itself another difficulty. But the fact that they are difference in context here shows the significance that we got a difficult knowing. The difficulty is we not want to know who does the forgiving here.
That's
Where's
right.
the action coming from?
And in a religion like Islam, you have to know who's going to do the forgiveness.
Okay, let's go to another one. This is chapter 2, verse 140. On the hafs, go ahead and say the word.
Okay, once again, I'm going to read it slowly. Hafs, left side, taquluna. Taquluna. The one on the right side, warsh, yaquluna. Yaquluna.
There you have a T versus a Y.
That's right. The one on the left, you have the ta, 2 dots at the top. The one on the right, you have the ya, 2 dots at the bottom. So, here is the English. It's very clear. One is saying you say,
which is second person.
Right. The other one saying they say,
which is third person.
In the third person. Don't tell me it's revealed from heaven in both ways. There is a huge difference here between who is being referenced here.
And remember, on the one on the left, the hafs, the you is plural.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating because that would even in of itself would have difficulty as to which you are you talking about here.
Absolutely. So in Hafs, for instance, let's say this is what Allah told Muhammad to tell the people. He's talking to somebody right now saying, you say, like right now I'm talking to you. Versus warsh, he's talking about people in the past were saying something like that. He's regurgitating,
so it's present versus past again
exactly,
as well.
Repeating something that happened in the past.
Okay, fascinating. I mean, we could go on and on and on. Let's go to
Yeah.
another one. Here is chapter 2, verse 184. Go ahead and give the Arabic.
Now, this is really one of my favorite, actually. I think I did a show during Ramadan with Hatun about this. So the Hafs reading on the left, the one in green, it says, miskeen, miskeen, singular. Miskeen, one poor person, by the way. And I'll tell you right now theologically why that's important. Warsh on the right side, masakeen, masakeen. Once again, miskeen versus masakeen. Now, if you don't know Arabic, you may feel like, oh, it may sound the same. No, one singular, that's Hafs, one plural, that's warsh. Here is the theological
Before we
issue.
get into that, I just want people who don't speak Arabic, who
Right.
don't recognize it, can you look and see the green line versus the yellow line? Can you see that there are the vowelizations are completely different? You have a kasra on the left side, and you notice that the line below is not there. It's above now. There's a slash above there. That is the fatta, which is above the ma. And it's also followed by a dagar aleph.
The dagar aleph is what allows me to use the masakeen. That's where the dagar aleph comes in handy. Exactly.
Okay, so there you can see one is one poor person, the other is many poor people. The significance, go ahead.
And I would say, initially when it was written, it didn't have any of these dots or diacritical marks. So Which way was it revealed? Which way was it memorized? Miskin or masakin? Now, this is a classic example, by the way. When they wrote it, they didn't know, was it plural or was it singular?
Well, it would have a huge significance as to who you're to give people to. What you're supposed to give during the time of Ramadan.
Yeah.
If it's just one person, that's not much you have to. If it's a whole slew of people, that would be a difference in practice. So when Shabi Ali says there is no difference in practice, no difference in belief, no difference in doctrine, here is a classic example of a difference in practice.
And I want to reiterate what Jay just mentioned. We're talking about a religion of works, and this is one of the 5 pillars of Islam.
There you go.
Right? So that's a crucial pillar. And what the context here is saying, if you couldn't fast because you're sick, right? You couldn't fast. So what is the alternative? You feed a person, a poor person, for every day you cannot fast to earn righteousness on account of doing this. Do you feed one person or do you feed more than one? By the way, the plural in Arabic means at least 3, at least 3.
Oh, so it has to be 3 or more.
Yeah, because there's dual in
So not
Arabic.
only is there a difference in practice, there is also a difference in doctrine.
That's right.
Because this will affect your barakah, how much barakah you receive.
Exactly. You receive barakah from 3 people at least or more, or 1 person only.
Now, can you see why are we bringing this up? Because we get the same repetitive narrative. There is no difference in practice. There is no difference in belief. There is no difference in doctrine. This is a good one to show you in all 3
This verse
cases.
shot the whole argument.
There you go. Let's go. We'll do one more, and then we'll take a break, and we'll come back and do another series, because I can see these are, you can unpack this, you can go so far for this. Let's go through chapter 2, verse 219. Go ahead and give the hafs on the left, and then we'll do the warsh on the right.
So, hafs on the left, kabirun, kabirun. Warsh on the right, kathirun, kathirun.
So one has a ba on the left, and the other one has a tha, 3 dots above.
Exactly.
1 dot below versus 3 dots above.
Which indicate, by the way, when it was written, didn't have these dots, and they didn't remember maybe which way it was read. Who knows? I mean, it's left the door open. And don't tell me as an Arab speaker that the word kabir means kathir. No. Kathir, when you're talking about plenty of things, many things. Kabir, it could be great, it could be giant, it could be big. Big difference between the 2 meanings.
Okay. So is drinking wine and gambling a great sin, or is it plenty of sin?
And once again, theological speaking, a great sin requires a different way to be atoned for. And ithmun kathir, meaning your sin a lot or multiple sins. Now which way you handle this?
Okay. So in one case it's size, the other case is volume. So you can see, I mean, you could go on and do the significance of this as far as practice and also as far as doctrine.
And in Islam, as you know, Jay, I'm sure you heard this, they classify sins. You have major sins, minor sins.
Okay.
So,
Terrific stuff.
which one does it apply here?
We're going to take a break there because I think it's important for Muslims to see that we're bringing up these not because we're not saying that these are the only ones that cause a problem. We just said we're hearing the same narrative, we're hearing the same refrain. Okay, so they're different. They don't change a thing. We've already just gone through 5 or 6 of them, and you can see they have changed not only the practice, not the belief, but in some cases the doctrine. And we're going to stop there. We're going to come back, and I'd like to show you some more that we've come up with, just a few more to go through it.
Awesome. And thank you, everyone. And I hope, we're trying our best to slow it down. You see how I'm trying to pronounce it for you. Focus on that word. Even just the pronunciation should alert you right away that it is not read the same. And then we add our commentary to it. So hope to see you next time with more examples. God bless you. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel, CIRA International. Also, click on the bell so that you can receive notifications whenever we publish a new video or we go live. And I would like to appeal to you to consider becoming a Patreon patron by clicking on the link right below. And that way you can give towards the production of these videos. There are also other options for you on how you can give to our channel. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.